everybody and welcome on today's video. Today it's the end of September. I think it's important to mention this. And I'm going to take my big Carpinus out of this pot. Not that it really needs a repot, but it needs to have a right angle so that I can style it. I need to see how the roots are doing, because most of these trees that you see here are technically just root grafts, excuse me. I also did quite some severe carving on this tree, and I'm going to show you a little video of that, so let's watch this. Okay, so what I'm not going to do with this tree, when I look back at all the wood carving, is burn anything or use wood hardener or lime sulfur or something like that, because what I don't want to do is preserve this wood. I want this wood, this dead wood, to weather out, to rot a little. I want the rain to go from here down to here and dig into the fibers and create this really natural movement. So if you use wood hardener or lime sulfur or whatever, well, you are working against nature, I think. I mean, you can do whatever you want. And I'm going to leave it for the whole winter and then see, does it look realistic? Does it look natural? If it doesn't, well, I'm going to leave it again until I see that it looks really natural, and then I see this is what I like, this is how it should look in the wild. So now I can fix this using lime sulfur with a little bit of black ink, because you don't want really white dead wood on a deciduous tree. That's not how they look in nature. They look dark. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So the roots on this tree, well, I don't know. It might be great, it might be not great, and there's only one way to find out. I gotta lift this tree out of the pot. There's a little seedling here that I'm going to treasure, because I need a whole lot of little seedlings to put into my Mechano-Fusion other Carpinus project. And that's it. I'm going to reposition this tree in the pot when I have a look at the roots. Maybe sort them out, comb them out a little. I don't think I need to trim anything. Might be possible that I have to trim something, but I don't know. So, well, we have to find out, so let's do this. So I don't want this tree to get out of the pot for too long. And here you see, well, no, you cannot really see it, I guess, but okay. We have 2 feet, and the middle is somewhere, let me see, here? Yeah, but here I have a bump on this pot, I don't like that. So I'm going to try to find I kind of like the middle of the thing here. So that makes it really easy, because I have this whole collection of little dots here. It's on the drum pot. Maybe I can just count them, and so that middle will be right here. Now that looks like a nice middle of the pot, so I'm going to mark that. Just because, well, if it is about repositioning the tree, might be a good idea to get it in the pot as nice as I can. So I also thought that this was a good front, so I'm going to look at the camera so that you have this front like so. No, that should be the front, but the tree is leaning backwards. It makes it difficult for me to work on this, but the only thing that really matters now is to have a nice root base, have a good view on the deadwood, which is, I think, rather spectacular. I even have new little shoots growing here. So that means that this tree is finding a new way. So I think that the front is here somewhere. So this should come here, but I'm not 100% sure. And one thing that is sure is when I get this thing out of the pot, well, my little red wire is going to disappear. So this point should be somewhere in the middle. So let's get this out of the pot now. Fingers crossed. I hope some of these grafts already are okay, and I'm also hoping that maybe I have some new roots from the tree itself, but yeah, well, we'll find out. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera, and this way you'll have a view. Well, it's a surprise for me too, so let's do this. It's heavy. That's because of the rain, of course. It's been raining like mad for 2 days. Okay. So, I don't have a better pot than this one. So before I do anything here, I'm going to clean the pot. I think some of the drainage screens are still there, so I'm going to use a few new ones. So I'm going to prepare this pot and clean it up a little so that this pot is ready when the tree is ready to come in. The pot is clean. I used some of the old drainage screens, but I took them out, washed it. And of course, because I washed the pot, I had to remark the front. And now I'm just going to use a little bit of, well, no, not a little bit, a whole lot of good draining stuff for the bottom. So this is just, I think, cat litter, perlite, well, it's BIMS here, and lava rock with no extra anything. So I'm just going to make a little mound, and then I'm going to put this pot aside because, well, I cleaned it and I don't want to have too much stuff there. And then we'll have a look at the roots. Well, that's really, I'm quite amazed. I didn't think that it would come out as a block like this. But that's good, it means that it's been growing. So, okay, let's do that. So the whole purpose of this thing is now having a look and gently get some of this soil away. So here we have a natural root. I'm not putting this thing on the turntable because I think that it's going to fall apart in 100,000 pieces, but, well, maybe it just has to fall apart. So not too much roots at the upper side, which is not a problem because I intended it to be a little deeper in the pot. Maybe I should already answer some of the questions that I'm gonna have. Is this a good time to repot a Carpinus? Well, I more and more think that autumn is the best time to repot everything. And I think early autumn. Because, you see, this tree has leaves. And so it's going to accumulate a lot of resources still, and it's doing that because of the leaves are still there, and it's going to store that in the roots, and it's going to do that in the coming weeks. And in the coming weeks there will be no frost, so no danger for the roots. They can heal over for a couple of weeks, which is most of the time enough for roots. And so yeah, this is going to take ages, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to do that really slowly. And if I see something interesting, I'll turn the camera back on. But I see interesting things. You see, this is a very good root, very, very strong. But because of this tree has to come this way, well, will it be the front? Will it be visible? Lots of questions that I have to ask. I also see, that's also interesting, some of the roots here from the grafts are under the surface, some are over the surface, so that's going to be very interesting to see how this presents itself. I'm also going to try to loosen some of these roots that are circling around, and this is going to take some time, so I'm going to get this thing cleaned out, and then we'll have a look and we'll be back. Well, this hasn't been easy at all, I must say. It was a terrible struggle to get everything sorted out, and now I have to look at what I got here. Well, there's quite a lot of good roots, but the question really is now, are all these roots from the grafts, or are some from the tree that is trying to put out some new roots? I don't think that I have a lot of these. And then the third question is, the grafts, are they already fusing with the mother plant, which is something that I don't know. And well, of course it matters, but at this point I think that giving this a few more years is not really an issue. So okay, now I can see a few things, like for example this root is from the tree itself, so that's a really nice root. I'm going to shorten it just a little. Oh, butterfly. Okay, so just remove that, because the roots that I have coming from the tree itself are the ones that I must cherish. I also saw that there is a big lump of wood here that I really do not need, so I'll remove that. But honestly, this is not important. There is more than enough room in this pot, but what you can get off is okay, so that makes it a little flatter. So this is a spot where I would like to have some new roots, but no. So it is complicated, very complicated. One thing that I'm quite happy about is the new roots on this thick thing here. So these are all nice, healthy new roots, and that probably means that I can remove a portion of this big stump here, which is interesting. So I'll remove this half now and see what is attached to it. Well, good healthy roots, but there's a whole lot in the back here, also here. So maybe I can just remove some of this lowest part here, because as you see, I have roots right under it. So I'm going to flatten this just a little, and I will do this gradually every year, just a little more. Well, not maybe every year, but every time that I do a repot. But this is a fairly thick tree, so it's okay to have some depth in the pot here. Okay, and now this side, and the last part. Well, it's a Carpinus, you know, also it's a very strong tree. Okay, so that's that big chunk coming off. Just one final snip here. And I had it. Yeah. Well, that's gone. Okay. That's good. That makes it rather flat, so that's nice. So I have a few roots growing straight up and then coming here. These are not good roots. I'm not gonna cut them. They are not a problem at the moment. Now, for the position of the tree, I think it needs to come, I'm trying to put that in the camera, right this way. So I need to push these roots down a whole lot, and that's really important. So I'm gonna reduce a whole part of the root ball here so that it fits in the pot a whole lot better, but of course not too much. They call it a trim or a haircut. And this tree is not in a refining stage, that's obvious. So this is a disastrous root. See, it comes from here. No, I cannot have that. That has to go. Okay, well, it's not looking bad. Just hoping that I can make a nice root plane with what I have. And I noticed that my turntable has the same diameter as the pot almost, so yeah, that will make the trimming a little easier. So I'm just going to follow the contours of the... But as you see, the tree is really not in a good spot. It's leaning to the back. That's not good. So that is really something that I have to do, and that's the whole reason for this repot, because I want these roots to make a nice flare, make a nice nebari. And I think this will do. And I prepared a couple of rocks to push these roots down, because there's no using grafting roots that are afterwards looking bad. So yeah, okay, so let's put this thing in the pot now. So this is a really strange video for me. I've been doing a whole lot of work off camera, and I don't think that, well, can you see what I've been doing? No, not really, yeah? But this is an important part. This is really the whole purpose of all this work. I want this tree in a good spot in this pot. So I want the right angle, I want the right inclination, and how the roots are looking right now is really not what I want. You see, they're sticking up, but there's not a lot I can do about that. I could try to tie them in, or I could try to use some rocks. So yeah, but this is going to be the whole point. Oh, wait a minute, my microphone is just, yep. I don't have that Bluetooth stuff, which is kind of nice, I must say, when I see other people, but yeah. So, roots. I need the roots to be nice, I need the front to be nice, so you can exclude this. These are just root grafts. I think the tree can have a little tilt, like so. That looks good, but I think that it should be a little higher in the pot, because here you don't see these nice roots, so a whole lot more soil will be necessary. Well, that was stupid. Okay, no harm done. I'll clean this up. Okay, back to the tree. Well, that's a whole lot better, I think. I'm blocking the view, huh? Yeah, I know. I like to see the two tops here. Is it on camera? Oh man, I'm going to block this for a second and see what you can see, because it's always so stupid when you try to show something and then no one can see it. Okay, that's better. So, well, that's not the tilt that I want. Something like that. Wait a second, be right back. Well, we have a good root spread there, except that the roots on the right here are just too high, but I'll get to, I need to get them down. For the rest, on the left side it's good, in the front it's good, there's no eye-poking root. We have a good visual on the deadwood, I think. So I think that's nice. I think I like that. So I'm going to try to tuck it in this way. And I'm also going to try to position most of the roots as radial as I can, because it's today that I need to do that. See, the tilt is not right, it has to come this way. And that means that my grafts are technically a little high, so I need to put them down. But how can I do that? Well, first of all, I need to have some support under the tree. And this whole root mat can probably get a little stronger and fuse and then go horizontally. So that's a good tilt, I think. But I need to get this down. So I'm going to take some raffia or something. little support here. Okay, I'm going to take my raffia. I'm not sure that raffia will be my best shot, so I also took some electrical wire, you never know. 2 pieces. Okay, well, it's always a little improvising, eh? Yeah. But okay. So I'll have to sit for this, take my glasses. That's what you get when you get old. Yeah. So I'm glad I marked the front. This is how I want it. So this is good. That's a good route. Maybe I can just put a stone on this and it would do the trick. Yeah. What do you think? I like the angle, but I don't like the tilt. So the tilt has to be really that way. And that is my main concern. Oh, I have other concerns here. This graft is going nowhere. See, it's loose in the hole. But yeah, it was obvious that all this grafting had some potential danger. Now, these roots are not bad, but I'd like to have them a little more like the roots here. Like so. Would be a little more interesting. So what can I do? Well, maybe put a rock under it. But I think I might even have to take a whole lot of substrate under it. But okay, I'll start with the rock. And I'll work the soil in. And then of course with the next repot I'll have to get rid of that rock. Well, honestly, it's not that bad as I thought. Do I really need to wire this in, or can this work with just a couple of very heavy stones? Because all this wiring in, it's going to make it very, very difficult. A couple of stones might just do the trick. Yeah, another big one, like this. There's still not enough soil under this portion, so I'll need to do that. Well, I can already take what I spilled here. Okay. Well, I guess this is getting kind of boring, so I'm just going to put some soil here, maybe add a little wire to get these guys down. Might be a good idea. Maybe put some stones for a support, maybe under it, over it. I don't know, we'll see, and I'll be back because I think this is going to be quite complicated. If anything interesting happens, well, I'll show you. I now have a rather absurd construction with bamboo sticks holding the tree where I think the front is going to be. So yeah, I like, and again, these grafts here, they're not helping in understanding the design, but okay, that's what it is. I think the root spread here is nice. Maybe put it a little more like this, a little more, like so, a little straighter, you know. And then I'm going to try to lift these roots a little more up by putting stuff under it. And I'm going to get these roots down, and therefore I added two wires, one here, and then one here and one in the back, and therefore to get the roots down, and therefore I'm just going to use a piece of bamboo and try to fix the bamboo with the wire by just putting it around a little, and that should hold the roots down without crushing the roots. It's just gonna put them down, and I think it's going to be possible then to how should I say, to loosen that by just loosening the wire at the bottom and pulling this out maybe in a couple of months after the winter. So here you see the roots are right too high. So I'm going to take this piece of bamboo, get it over here. I have a little longer one, I think. Yeah, that's going to be just a little bit easier. That's complicated, you know. The tree is always trying to fall down, which is not nice. I mean, I'm doing my best here. The tree should work a little bit with me. But this gets the roots down, so that's nice. So now, again, the tilt in this direction. It's not perfect. I'm going to try to get another bamboo like so. It forms the triangle. I'll do that and I'll show you. So I constructed this rather complicated bamboo structure here to get the roots flat, and now that they are almost where I want them, I can just position them, and then when I'm adding the soil I can position them completely. So that's what I'm going to do next. I just add some soil here and then put it there, and then work it in with my chopstick, one root at a time. And yeah, I'm going to do that. So here we have it. It was quite something to repot this thing. So I really hope it does well. It saddens me a little that I cannot show you the tree without the grafts, but it's just impossible to cut these off at this moment. They need to grow a little more, obviously, but maybe next year I'll try to make them grow like this, so that it makes the whole thing a little more interesting. But this way they are going to take much more space on the benches, and well, I don't have a lot of space. But yeah, well, that's how it should look, something like that. You are watching the front right now. So quite some improvements. The tree is now fixed in the pot thanks to the bamboo construction under the ground. The soil is a little high, which is something that I did on purpose, of course. It's fall now, winter is coming, and so it's not bad to have some extra protection. But also to have some roots being really happy deeply under the ground. Is the tree in the perfect spot now? No, not completely 100%, but there's only so much you can do in one time. But okay, it's not leaning forward, but it's at least straight, so that's good. The foliage in the back, well, is doing quite okay. I have a couple of branches, which is all that I need, because these things will have to grow out. So again, these are the grafts, so don't consider them. It's always possible to graft branches if I want, but that's not for now. This is the other side. Again, you see, the leaning is somewhere there, so that's fine. And here we have the front again. And that's it. I'm very happy that I did it. I think the tree will be completely okay with this repot now. Yeah. So winter will help form the deadwood naturally, and then in spring we'll see what we can do. I'll probably cut back the grafts here just to make sure that all the branches from the tree itself have more than enough light, and then the grafts can grow out laterally, so that's as long as they grow, that's gonna be okay. And this tree will get a repot maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, who knows, it depends on how it grows. So that's it. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, share, all the good YouTube stuff. It helps me, and it keeps the channel moving on. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.